Okay, nice. Beautiful. Beautiful. Okay, yeah. So um let's start with the first one here. Let's go back. Protected H1 low. So yeah, you have 50% broken above. We have that imbalance there. I don't really go into the imbalance and stuff personally, but I have a general idea for how it works. You've seen me mark this up just before, I believe, where I basically marked that off as the high for the higher time frame structure, support, turn, resistance. And then we had this area here forming a lot of liquidity as a resistance as well, right? So liquidity above interacted with the old high, with the old support, turn resistance. And then like you have here, I'm looking for, and you as well, for a price to come back to the downside. Now, this is a valid trade. I think this is fine to take. I would though look for let me go to the annotation thing. I would look for that whole manipulation thing that I kind of mentioned before, where we can have some type of rejection of this, right? And I'll say one rejection and then some type of manipulation. I wouldn't say exactly to this area that I'm marking off now, but manipulation to any degree above this area, right? Just because we have this as a previous area as support, now turning resistance. And then we can look to follow through, and as we clear out more of these areas down here, right, we have to remember that trend continue and then price can reaccumulate. Trend can continue, right? But once it goes through that accumulation phase, once it goes through that trend continuing phase of making a new low, we're all due respectively to have that pullback, to collect more orders in the market, and then continuing to new lows. What did he say? He said first one is daily. Yeah. That's what I imagined. But yeah, so yeah, this looks all fine. I would look for downtrend structure to come back in, and like I mentioned, apart from that, my mind is open to the idea of things not going my way, right? That's part of risk management. That's part of trade management and all of that. So if that's why we have our stop loss in place for one, but if the market is not making new lows or it's making new highs, then I'm not going to hold this same idea that you and I have here for new lows to come in. Clear. Okay, but yeah, so there's that. My bad. But yeah, this is a very good analysis. Same idea holds, right? So I mentioned before about the time frame. There's different trends. The market is fractal. So same way that you got that I showed this before. My bad. Draw. Same way that I got this before as a high, right? Price breaking above and going down there is the same exact thing that we can get at this level right here, right? Forming as a resistance. We can have price continue above, collecting more liquidity of more people. Reason I'm going to say more people is because this is a higher time frame, and this is an older support and resistance zone than this one down here, right? So same thing can happen, cause for more losers before more downward pressure back to that monthly zone that you have rightfully marked off there. Like I said, with the time frames being fractal and all those things, so the liquidity is being formed and taken on all different time frames at the same time. Like there's a bunch of different things going on. That's why we have to remember the idea that when there's a buyer, there's also a seller. When someone's losing, someone's also making money, right? So like even on the 1 minute time frame, you have losers, but they're losing on, let's say, a 1 minute spectrum, right? Versus someone trading, versus all the people, probably more people, more professionals, more people with higher amount of money, more patience on the higher time frames, the daily, using this as a respective level. They're going to have their money pulled, right? The market is constantly just going through a phase of taking people's money and giving people's money, right? So that whole idea, I think you have a general idea of liquidity given that the charts that you have here. But yeah, given the fact that it's happening on so many different time frames, we have that our analysis that you had previously there looks good, all great. I would go with that. But if there were to be a stop out, if there were to be anything like that, I can look to take trades above that resistance if the market structure starts developing to the downside, stuff just like that.